very excited. They have been preparing for the past few weeks already.
Wow.
And so I'm very excited to see what is their entry. So I believe they're going to do recording this week to be able to present on that day. Do you know anything that's happening on your end, Sister Teresa, for that SOFLA?
At the moment, Paul, we haven't yeah had a scheduled one, but
Mm-hmm.
we do have other activities that are coming up in the next yeah few weeks. But even here in Gold Coast, we actually have a INC giving food breakfast for some of the yeah. So that's all coming up. But yeah, in terms of the soft law, we're still waiting on the date, Paul.
Yes. Well, there's quite a lot of activity, and I believe you also have your Queensland Unity
Yes,
Games. Is that
sister.
right?
The first one is District of Queensland. I'm very excited. This is the sort of like Olympic version of in Queensland. So this is the events such as running and you know like long jump. I have not participated in things like this since in high school, so I'm actually a little bit nervous because I put my name for it as a book
Mhm.
launch. So a bit nervous, but a bit excited at the same time. So yes.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure everyone's looking forward to it, Sister T, because this is a time where we can actually bond with one another, and everyone's been able to enjoy and have fun at the same time in terms of like playing their favorite sports. So of course, following that, I think this is for our district for New South Wales mainly, but I'm sure something similar will be done there in Queensland as well. Is that on September 22 to 28 on that week, we are actually having a district choir scenic walk.
Wow.
So for each local congregation, we have been given the choice because, as you know, here in New South Wales and even there in Queensland, there are a lot of nice walking areas. And so we've been
Yes.
given a list to choose from our local congregation. And so we are going to we've chosen to do it on the 27th, a Saturday, to make everyone have a nice walk for all the choir to be able to actually enjoy their time together and also be healthy because we actually need that to be able to actually fulfill our duties as well. And last but not the least, on September 29, we're also doing a district choir sponsored INC giving for our international students. As we all know, it's already quite difficult coming here in Australia, especially if they're just by themselves, being an international student, getting your way around, finding what you need to do for your for the course, and even finding a job. So we are having this INC giving to give support to our international students, for being brave and courageous of coming to be able to fulfill their dreams as well. And not just from New South Wales and Queensland, we also have a lot of activities happening in the District of Australia West. So they have their August 18th, so that's today. They have the local congregation of Dandenong doing their INC giving blood donation. Local congregation of Coogee, they have their local Unity Games as well. So looking forward. And then on next week, Knox City will be having their cooking street food.
Wow.
Ooh,
Yum. That
that
sounds
makes me hungry.
amazing. I
Yeah,
think
and then
I
they
might have to
are
move
also
there.
holding, I think this is becoming a new trend now, Sister T, esports. They're starting to have
Oh,
esports. So I think,
that's
a
interesting.
lot of now that, video games and online games are becoming more popular, I think we're starting
Wow.
to, even the church is starting to adapt to this technology. and and also we have the local congregation of Brimbank City Walk. Local congregation of Palmerston, they have their CFO socializing, and the local congregation of Kingston City, they have their crochet making. So
Wow.
a lot of activities. So hope our listeners and our viewers are able to catch all of those activities. If you're in the area, we're more than happy to have you there. Join us. We'd love to meet you. But of course, if you to our listeners and our viewers, continue to send in your greetings in the chat, especially to our as we delve into our discussion about Christian work ethic. So for to those who are tuning in, we have our official website, which is the incradio.org. We also have INC Radio mobile applications that you can download from Play Store if you're using an Android phone, or App Store if you're an Apple user. So to know more about the Iglesia Ni Cristo, visit our official website at iglesianicristo.net or www.incmedia.org, where you can find a variety of videos that will be inspiring for our day-to-day living. And you can also like us on Facebook, CEBSI.inc, and Instagram. We have INC News and Updates IG, and also on Twitter, which is INCAU Twitter. So please stay tuned. You're still listening to INC Radio Australia Studio, one of the official satellite studio of INC Radio, and we will be right back.
You are listening to Iglesia Ni Cristo Radio, the voice of truth.
Finally, school's over.
Yo, Andre, let's play that new game.
I have a test coming up tomorrow. I should probably study, but I've been really excited to play that new game. What should I do?
We missed you on the game yesterday. How'd the test go though?
Really well, actually. Gotta make smart choices, you know?
And that's the value of making the right and smart choices while we're still young. It's also a matter of self-discipline. Wise decisions we make in our youth help us achieve a meaningful and purposeful life, bringing honor and glory to our Almighty God.
Saan na kaya yun? Uy! Kayo po pala yan! Hello! Ate Tay here. Sorry, ang dami kong hinahanap. Kayo, ano bang hanap nyo? Usapang self-development? Baka naman intrapersonal connection? Or physical improvement? Dito sa bagong programa ng INC Radio ay malalaman natin with good conversation and proper research ang tungkol sa pagkakaroon ng growth mindset and good hobbies. So from Monday to Friday, 10 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. Bye! See you!
Australia Satellite Studio, an official satellite studio of INC Radio. And for today, we are discussing, of course, our Christian work ethic. Now, a work ethic is a set of values or principles someone or a person holds regarding work, such as the importance one places on doing work, the morals one engages while working, and how one decides the amount of time or effort to devote to work. Now, of course, we have our YouTube chat group. If you guys would like to tell us how you feel about this topic, or if there's anything that you would like to share with all of us. But Sister Diane, this is such a great topic, and one of the ones I actually like doing in INC Radio, because it's so relevant now to all of us, especially now that we're off COVID. Most of us are now back to work and not just at home, working from home anymore. We're back in our offices, or well, for teachers, we will always actually, most of us were when we never had work from home, we still had to go to work. It's just a thing that we had to do, especially where I was working. We still had the privilege to actually go to work, because we were looking after the first responders' children, of course, who they had to go, of course, to work, such as our nurses and doctors and firefighters and so on. But Christian work ethic is something that I personally love and make sure that I uphold at work. And so if there's anything like I said to our listeners right now and viewers, please share with us any Christian work ethics that you uphold at work and that we would love to hear about. But what is your preferred work of style and why? Things like that. But for now, Sister Dan, how do you feel about what is it to you when we say Christian work ethic?
Christian work ethic, Sister T, I think, it's really very, very individual based. It depends on the quality, in the terms of how you actually view your work, what are the values that you uphold, and how you actually see you perform at work. And this is something that we are honed from, when we're very young up to the age that we are actually working. So I think, these are behavioral that we actually carry. And this is something that, the church always, I think, played a part in our life to be able to remain that harmonious relationship with our work colleagues as well. Because even as when we are young, or being members of the children's worship service, we actually practice those kind of skills already, but we were not I guess in a sense we not very known to it, but that we're actually doing it. So in terms of preferred working style, and in for me, when I first started working, Sister T, I used to work in a pathology lab where it's a very, very fast-paced environment. I'm always on the go, I'm always on my feet. And I actually quite enjoy it because I was able to, the time passes by very quickly. Although I rarely sat down, I will only sit down probably during the lunch 30 minutes that I'm actually entitled to. But the rest of the day, I will be running up and down,
Wow.
doing all
Like
those
on
sort of
your feet.
things.
Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
also a rotational shift, Sister T. So in a sense, I can be rested early in the morning, in the afternoon, or even an overnight shift. So I got used in that kind of lifestyle, and I do enjoy because it's a face to face. For me, I don't take work home because once I finish my shift, that's it. I go home, I sleep, I do whatever I need to do, which became a very different scenario when I transitioned to a different role. So now that I'm doing more of a project managerial role, I'm more in front of the computer a lot of the
Oh,
times,
yes.
and I work with a various stakeholders from different parts sometimes of the world. And I found it was really amazing because I get to talk to them, and you meet different people from different parts of the world. But the transition was actually a bit of a shock, I guess, in the system, because I was so used in my previous role for the past few years where I always get, my daily task was to get everything done, and the next day is a new day. But with this role, it's more of like I have long-term goals. And because I work in multiple projects, I need to get my mindset that I don't need to get everything done today. And I think the only constant thing that I can think of in that task list is me being able to update my email, that I action them accordingly or responded or put them in the right category, sort of thing. But a lot of them, it's all like it's a very long-term goal that I have to get my mindset. And I used to get stressed a lot. And because I'm able to, like, I'm always constantly on my laptop or on my
Yeah.
phone. And so that's why it was a very different, it was very challenging for me transitioning into that job. And that's why I guess, in terms of work ethic, I need to be able to learn to set the boundary, because in my previous role, I was okay, like, I'm clocking off, no one's gonna bother me. If I there's something I need to do, I can just talk to someone straight away. But now in this role, I have to consider the time zone, or are they available? Do they have a meeting? I need to check their calendar before I set any time to talk to them. So very different working lifestyle. And I guess for me, I do prefer being on my feet rather than being always on the computer, because I don't really like taking work home for myself, because I feel the task, it's always lingering around my head. But I think over time I'm able to overcome that. But if I am able to go back, I think I love working in the lab. I enjoy being the practical part of it, being able to see my workmates face to face. And I miss those coffee times when we go together.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but that's me. I feel like I prefer that kind of work, the fast pace, being on the go, because time goes by very quickly. And I feel very fulfilled at the very end of it because I was able to get everything done. But what about you, Sister T?
Well,
What is your
I was just
preferred
gonna
working
ask you
style?
actually, Sister Diane, like
Yeah.
before we go forward, in that sense, because like your work, uh, environment changed. You were, like you said, lab, physical going, and then to suddenly now more, sort of desk and emails, and the completely the two different sort of environments. Did you find your work ethic changing in those two different scenarios?
Oh, yes, definitely, Sister T, because as I said previously in that, the fast-paced environment, I am interacting with my work colleagues
Hmm.
all the time. So they can see my facial reaction, they can hear
Yes,
the tone of my
that's
voice.
true.
It was very easy in terms of keeping the communications, whenever I need to get things done. They're just there when I need to get things done. But moving into this new environment,
Hmm.
I did not realize how you can your even a simple message on your on the chat or even in the email can actually have a drastic effect where you can be easily misunderstood.
So
And so
true.
I became a bit more mindful in terms
Hmm.
of how I phrase things or when I'm asking certain things. Because, for example, maybe in our culture, saying, "Can you do, please do this?" It can be, no one would take it as very demanding. But from a different culture, for them, it can come off as very a bit negative and demanding, and they can get a little bit offended in a sense. So I
So
make
true.
sure that in all of my emails or any of my messages, I always include please and thank yous. And that is actually one thing, even, the church administration, whenever we have our Christian family organization meetings, that's actually we're always being reminded of to be able to be, to be respectful of one
Yes.
another, be mindful of what we say. Make sure that you think first before you actually write it down or say it to avoid any of the misunderstandings. And that is one thing that really drastically changed, Sister Teresa, because I'm so used that, my workmates are just around the corner. But now sometimes I have to wait, within 24 hours to get a response
Yes.
because sometimes they're like, they're based in Europe or they're in America. But at the end of the day, keeping an open communication or sometimes just to avoid misunderstanding, I just set in a call time with them. And at least you avoid that because they can hear you, they can see you. It kind of replaces that face-to-face interaction that I used to have. But definitely, yeah, that is one of the big work ethics. The communication part was the biggest challenge for me.
Oh, I can imagine. Yes, because like you said, you also had to change your ways, and yeah, normally different environments would do that to us. But for myself, I've been an educator for over 20 years, and as basically an early childhood teacher for the last 12, but been
Mhm.
around children all my life, and it's always been a go 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 job. It's a physical thing, and that's something that I love and thrive for. Because earlier on, after my high school, I wasn't sure, as a young person, didn't know what to do. I wanted to be a lot of things. So
Mhm.
one of them was I wanted to be a business person, and I tried that. And I found that in this course, I was always in front of the computer. Like you said, it's not always with people. Your interactions is mostly with the screen. And I found that it was just not me. I just couldn't, be in front of a computer all day long. I needed to move, and because I found myself like just falling asleep half the time being in front of the screen. So I just told myself, no, I need to do something else. And so since then, had a change of career. Went to university and got my bachelor's of education, and I thrive. I love being an educator, teacher, and making a differences in children's lives. And I try as much as I can, being raised, by my mom, and also uh, being in the church at a young, convert at a young age. I learned a lot of the values that I uphold now. I learned that through the worship services, through church, and I carry that because that's a part of me. It's who I am, and I carry that wherever I go, and I carry that even while I'm at work. And I start my Christian work ethic become starts the minute I wake up. I pray before I leave. I go to work, and it's funny now because my 5-year old Brandon, he actually reminds me. He goes, "Mom, have we prayed?" And I love that he also instills that. And so yes, and I already pray before going that I thank you, Lord, for a great day. So I already say I'm gonna have it because it's just I want to have a great day, and because I also want to be that for my children. I want to have that positivity for my young children. And because like I mentioned before in our past episode, Sister Diane, I'm with these children for a few hours of the day. I don't know what their home life is before or after, they leave the classroom. But while I'm with them, I try and stay positive and be that great person that they can rely on as a teacher. So yeah, my work, I think, is to just make sure that I am a caring person, not only as well towards my students, but also to my coworkers. In my work where I am working currently, there's over 50 staff. So I want to make sure that I'm also that kind and caring person that I can be for them. So yeah, I
Oh,
just kindness.
definitely agree, Sister T, in terms of when you were mentioning about starting your day with a prayer. And
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's not just me, and you most likely agree, but I know obviously there are times that we have like very busy days, and I could not agree more in terms of starting your day with a prayer, because I feel like when you start your day, you can just expect you're going to have a much better day, even though there will be challenges, but you feel like it's much more easier to deal with, because I've experienced days where maybe because I was lacking sleep the night before, and I actually honestly just forgot to do my morning prayer because I was rushing straight away to go to somewhere, like I'm running late for work. And I feel like the day was just like one after the other. It wasn't just as great. And so actually, and so that's why I couldn't agree, like always starting your day with a prayer, because as you said, it kind of guarantees that you're just you have that feeling, that confidence that no matter what the day is going to be, you will be able, that you have God's guidance in your side to be able to get through the day, no matter how difficult it would be. And in regards to that, Sister Teresa, with developing our work ethics, what are some of the good or not so good habits that you think you have developed throughout this week? And we're also going to ask this question to our listeners and our viewers. So throughout your career, or even for those who are just starting, what are some of the good habits that you have developed, or the not good ones, but you are able to overcome them? What are the tips that you can give us to share, so that you are able to develop that good working habit? Because I think for me, Sister T, branching off again from my previous job, where I'm always used to getting things done all before I leave the day, is when I'm transitioning to this new role, is my mindset was getting things done. And because I was remotely working, so I have my laptop with me all the time, I have my mobile phone with me, and it's connected with my emails. So even though I've clocked off already, I could not stop myself from checking. And when I
Yes.
see like, oh, it's something that, it's just a 5 minute thing, I will reply.
Yes.
But what I did not realize is actually that, my workmates thinking that I'm available all the time, and they're constantly, messaging. And I fell into that trap that, because I just want to get things done, I'm
So
actually
true.
working more than I should be. So that was it's good in a way, because we are able to finish the task on time. We get to be able to achieve our goals, and we're not lagging. But at the same time, it's not so good, because it's actually, I'm actually working more than I should have been. um, and I didn't get to set that boundary straight away. So what about you, Sister T? You're already working, and I can just imagine the challenges that you have. How are you actually able to get those working habits?
I'm the same, Sister Diane. Like, I was always a yes person. At some degree, I still am. I think it's just because of the kind heart that God gave me. It's always been. I've just, ever since I was young, it's just like aim to please. And sort of, I just had to say yes because I thought I was being kind and it's the right thing to do. And basically, even now as a teacher, I find myself when I'm in the shop and I find an activity, I, even though it's outside my work hours, I have to go and buy it. I have to go and get it for my children, for my students. So and before, especially before having my family, before having my son Randon, I was always bringing work home. And it's because there's always so many things that I just could, especially paperwork, the paper side of things. I couldn't get them all done while I was teaching in class. So I would always bring stuff home, and even on the weekend. And I remember actually I remember years back, and I went back to Philippines. This was me getting engaged. I mean, getting married, and I still brought work with me, and I was preparing for my wedding at the same time. And my husband was just like thinking, saying to me, "What are you doing? Like, we're getting married." And I'm like, "I know." And I said, "But I have to do this. I got to finish my reports. This is my children's reports. You know, they can't move on to the next level until I finish these reports." So that was the one sort of wake up call. I was like, "Oh." That's so true. What am I doing? Like, I'm supposed to be focusing on my wedding, and this is me time now. I shouldn't be, you know, bringing work with me, and this is on a holiday of all things. So I've learned to slow down and cut it down. But yeah, so that's definitely one of the bad habits that
Yeah.
I've learned to
I
now.
think that's one of the things, Sister T, when, I think you mentioned earlier that, your job is actually, that's what your passion, and you love the children that you teach, you love what you're doing. That's why it's so easy to fall into that trap that even
It's
though,
so
as you said, you're on your holiday, you're still thinking about your children, about the work that you're doing, but instead of actually focusing on yourself. And and for some, especially to our listeners and our viewers, it's okay for you to actually have a break, enjoy your holiday, and come back and deal with all those work after coming back from your holiday, because we all need time for ourselves. We need time to spend with our families as well. So don't ever feel guilty about being able to spend that time, because especially, for example, like Sister T, who gives more than 100% when she is in the classroom with her children. She gives 100% attention to them, and being able to always think what is the best way to be able to help them achieve their learning goals. And today, Sister T, we're very blessed that we have quite a few reporting on our show today. We also have Sister Jovel, who will be reporting about their EVM Cup. And also, I think they have some pictures to show along
that's
with
so
the
true.
reporting. So if you can welcome Sister Jovel. Hi, Sister
Hi,
Jovel.
Sister
You can
Javel.
continue with your report, po.
Yes po. Good day po to everyone who's currently watching INC Radio Australia po. Ayan, hello po sa lahat. Yes po, a quick update lang po. We're currently here in the Central Recreation Center po here in Central Avenue, Quezon City to witness po the EVM Cup. The EVM Cup po attended by the ministers and ministerial workers together with their families po to showcase their skills and abilities in various sports events. So it started po with a parade of colors attended by the 8 ecclesiastical districts here po in Metro Manila. And basketball po is for the ministers and ministerial workers po held here in Central Recreation Center. And volleyball game naman po sa School for Ministers gymnasium po. With such activities like this po, more than winning the game, it is the sportsmanship, unity, and brotherhood that made this activity fruitful for all. That's the most recent update po here in Quezon City. This is Sister Ivy Vergara po reporting for Iglesia Ni Cristo News Network.
Oh, thank you very much, Sister Abby, for that wonderful report, and congratulations to everyone. It looks so much fun, right, Sister T? Thank
Yes.
you. Hope you can join us again, Sister Ivy. Enjoy the rest of the EVM Cup.
Thank you, Sister Ivy. Sister Diane, I would just want to say a quick greeting to our beloved ministers here, po, Noli and his beautiful wife, Sister Linda. Hello, how are you, po? Thank you for watching INC Radio and supporting us this evening. We also have Ka Lucky and Ka Olan. Hello.
And I believe
I
Sister
believe they're watching right now.
yes, that's right, Sister Teresa. And I believe even Sister Buena Gutierrez is also watching us on today. So hello, po. She is always supporting us every week as well. So thank you very much, po, to all our ministers and ministers' wives who always continue to join in on RNC Radio as well. There's so many actually, Sister T. Maybe let's spend a bit of quick time to
Yes.
recognize all our YouTube chats, because I remember seeing one of them about we have Jetro Japet. Shout out po to the Guanzon and Bravo family of Windham, Australia, and Mangit family. Watching po from local ng, I think, Dawis, distrito ng Bohol. Hello po. Hello po sa inyo. And we also have Sister Crizzy. Sister Crisel. Hi, Sister Crisel. So our very own
Hi.
one of our hosts as well here in INC Radio Australia. I'm just trying to look for her greetings because she was actually mentioning about our topic today about the work ethic. So while I look for that, we also have from a lot of members from our local congregation of Altona and Melbourne. We have Audrey Lana, Wilma Valdez, Bernadette No, Josh Magno. We also have Jojo Magno and Brother Emir Mercado. We also have from Altona, William Manabat, Sister Pia Miranda. Hello, Sister Pia. Thank you for joining
Hi.
in. And there's quite a few more. So we'll get more into those greetings, sisters. And please continue to send them in. We love seeing all your messages. There's quite a lot. Need to catch up on them, Sister Teresa.
Yes, yes. Thank you
Well,
for all those
Sister Teresa,
support.
as we are talking a lot more of our about Christian work ethic, there's definitely a lot of things to discuss, but let's go in for quick break. So please continue to stay tuned. You're still listening to INC Radio Australia, one of the official satellite of INC Radio, and we will be right back.
You are listening to Iglesia ni Cristo Radio, the voice of truth.
You are listening to INC Radio DCM 954. 당신은 지금 INC Radio DCM 946 듣고 계십니다.
As a Christian overseas worker, I work with honesty.
As a parent, I raise my kids a Christian way.
As a Christian youth, I exhibit good values for others to follow.
As Christian students, we study hard to make our parents proud.
As members of the Church of Christ, we exemplify good values according to God's teachings.
As radio anchors and crew, we offer ourselves to serve and to care because we utilize INC Radio as an effective platform
to change lives through God's Word.
Welcome back, and you're still listening to INC Radio Australia, one of the official satellite studio of INC Radio. So for those listeners and viewers who have just tuned in, our topic today is about Christian work ethic. So please continue to share about your Christian work ethic or any tips to be able to maintain that harmonious relationship with your work colleagues, or what kind of work ethic do you uphold? So Sister T, just going back quickly, I've actually found that comment from Sister Crisel. So for her, she said, for me po, work ethic is really important because it is a key to a positive work environment, and also it fosters trust and respect. Watching from local congregation of Minchin Buried. Thank you so much for that, Sister T.
Thank you, Sister Crisel. Well said. Actually, we also just had news that Brother Seth Gutierrez is also watching right now. Hello po, Seth. We miss you here in Queensland.
Aww.
Please come back po.
Thank you so much for your always support po.
I know, I love it.
Just going back, Sister Teresa, to our topic now, I think, our listeners and our viewers are really able to relate in this kind of, especially the kind of lifestyle that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you'll agree, Sister T, I think it's, with our growing economy now, I think it's becoming a bit of a trend. It's people are actually starting to work 2 jobs now to be able to just be able to go with the economy that they are doing. And I guess it gets more trickier in terms of being able to set those boundaries. So in your experience, Sister, because I feel like having a family, you having multiple duties as well, and then also working, you are also not just dealing with the children, but also with the parents at the same time. So how are you actually setting these healthy boundaries with your work, and so that you'll be able to still have time with your family and also for yourself?
Well, definitely it's something, Sister Diane, that I've learned through the years. It's a skill that I've had to practice and make sure that I I'm aware of. It's something that I have to consciously make sure that I do. And it's a great thing that, to be able to actually say no, but without being mean or unkind. So and it's possible, it's without having to actually just be harsh, because it's a skill that you need to learn. It's the wording that you do, and it's also in the way that you present yourself. And like you said, Sister Diane, sometimes emails, it loses it, basically miscommunication happens. It loses its passion there, rather than physically saying it to someone. So basically now what I do is, instead of saying yes to a lot of things, I just go, I can help you by directing you to where it can help you more, or or to the answer you're looking for, rather than I used to just go, oh sure, I'll do it for you. And I used to do that a lot. Yeah, I'll take it on, and I forget that I said yes to so many things and so many people, that I also had to, had my own thing that I had to do, which then ate up more of my time and more of my mental and emotional being, not just not just time constraint, and physical even. So now I've just learned to go, sure, I'll help you, and I'm still being kind, but then I'm just directing them to also help themselves. And
That's true.
and the thing is, Sister Diane, actually the joy in seeing some of their faces, to know that they've learned a new skill for themselves, is even a greater reward. Because yeah, they go, oh my gosh, I thank you so much for letting me, or showing me this, because I now know how to do it myself. And then they can all maybe even pass it on, that skill, to the next person, right? So
Yeah, that's right, Sister Jane. I think that's the best way of actually helping them. It's not taking on the work, but actually letting them learn to be independent and be able to grow onto that skill as well. And
yes,
plus, it frees up your time because you teach them now, then later on they're able to actually do it themselves. So, but I think yeah, that is one of the very really challenging part when it comes to work because, as you said, Sister T, also a little bit like that I'm a bit sometimes, maybe our listeners and our viewers can actually relate to this, is that you feel shy to say no because you feel like they're going to get offended, or they're going to get upset at you, and then when you need help, I think it's that fear that if you needed help, they won't be able to help you back because you said no to them. So to our listeners and viewers, what are some of the ways that you are able to actually say no without being being offensive to the
yeah,
person, or like saying that you don't want to actually help them, but let them understand that you also have your work, because it's very easily to fall into that trap where you keep helping other people but you end up not doing your own work because you've taken on too much. So it's never a bad thing to be able to
yeah,
just say no, but let them explain. I think that's the best way of saying telling them directly, like being honest to
so
them and
true,
saying no is the best way, because
so true.
yeah, let them understand why are you actually saying no, not just saying no, I don't want to help you.
That's so true.
Yeah, so actually let them understand the situation, why are you actually saying no, and then if there's an opportunity arise later on, then you are able that you were more than happy to give a a helping hand, because it's something that you want them to grow as well in the role, or in the job environment. And as you said, Sister T, I think Sister Chrissy really put it in a very wonderful way, that it really fosters a positive environment. um I remember one of my workmates actually mentioning this in my previous job, where she was telling me, I'm not staying in this job because of, the pay and all that. I'm actually staying because of my colleagues, the people that I work with. She said, I'm actually happy here. The dynamics
Hmm.
that we have is here. So it's really, really important to have that kind of relationship with our colleagues, because that's what makes it easy. Because no job is no job is easy. Every job, it has its own challenges, but the people that you work with makes the difference. So if you can make that environment for your other workmates as well, you provide that happy environment, that helpful and caring, then you can all help one another learn new skills and be able to grow together. Isn't that right, Sister T?
Definitely, Sister Diane. It's so true. And like you said, just a balance. It's just learning to make sure that you're also looking after yourself, because then how are you going to give more to others when you yourself don't have any more left, for yourself, for your family. So yeah, this like um I want to just shout out to what sister what was that, Chriselle, that was
Sister Crystal, yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's just amazing what she just said, right? It's so true the way she just said it. It's fantastic. And if you have any more of those things, please share that with us, because that's something that I might bring back to my workplace too and share with my colleagues, because I'm a quote girl. I love wordings and quotes, and sometimes I even like to print them and put them out in the classroom, and just to remind them, even in our staff room. I love doing that, like just as a reminder.
Well, Sister T, I just have one more question from you, because as I said, I really admire someone like you. As I said, being able to be still a mom, a wife, still fulfilling your duty and still working at the same time. I can't just imagine being able to juggle all of that. Even for myself, I could. It's happening in the near future, not near, but somewhere in the future.
It'll be
But I'm
quick. It'll
actually
be
quite
quick,
nervous
sis.
myself. How is it important that you actually maintain that work-life balance, and actually how are you doing it? How do you prioritize your time to be able to get that sorted out? Because I feel like that's a very challenging thing to do.
Oh, definitely. It just works out. Because I know it sounds weird, but when all of this happens, you just end up making way and time for everything else that happens. But like you said, it's just that balance. It's that word. You need to make sure that you balance everything you do, and then your priorities change. Like before, when I was still, like, say, single or not had my family yet, I could dedicate myself more to my job, to my career, and whatever I wanted to do, because there was always just the things. Obviously, I was member of the choir for 18 years, so I had my church duties, and that was it. Like I my work and myself, but then now when I had a family, I kind of just had to make sure that I also made time now for everything else. So my time was still devoted to everyone else, but it just became shorter, because I found a balance. Like you said, it's such that word is so important. So you're not giving away anything, you're not giving up anything, you're
Yeah.
just giving a balance. And sometimes you do forget as a mother to make time for even yourself. But it's important that you do, because it's like recharging yourself. So that it's important to give to recharge yourself, so that you can give yourself to other people, and who loves you, and the people around you, and like you said, at work and things like that. That's something I think we need to for the next topic, Sister Diane, especially
Yeah, I think it's a very different,
when
more
you
in-depth topic.
you'll know
Well,
this
but
once in the next year or so. This is going to be you.
oh, we'll see how I go, Sister T. I'll definitely probably come and ask you for some tips and advice, and for how to am I able to actually keep a good mental state. But I think from what you have said, Sister T, from what we can actually gain from it is time management and setting your priorities are the key to be able to actually do all the things that you love, be able to fulfill the things and reach your goals. So whether if it's personal, for your family, your career, for your church. And I believe this is something that the church administration has always strived to support us. Even in our Christian family organizations meetings, they actually provide us some seminars in terms of time management, for budgeting, prioritizing, and even sometimes, with all the technologies that we have now, they're giving us advices on how to be able to be careful online, so that we can take care of our own privacy and not to fall into these really bad situations or traps into the scams and things like that. And we're very thankful for the church administration that they're always looking after us, not just spiritually, but even for our well-being, outside of the church. They give us that guidance so that they're aware. We make sure that we are following the right path, and we always letting us feel that God is always on our side and that we're not alone. So for me, even Sister T, even if I'm feeling a little bit nervous, I know I have you, Sister T, and also
Yes,
Sister
always.
Liberty, the people that I look up to, the very wonderful moms, super moms. I think I'm gonna say the super moms.
Oh, stop. You're going to make me
Because
cry, Sister Diane.
oh,
Just stop.
don't be, Sister T. I think, as I said, I really admire moms like you who are able to keep that, and I could see it from your children, as you said, they have seen the hard work that you have done and how much you also love your duty, how much passion you have in your teaching, and it reflects to them. And so, to our listeners and our viewers, if there's anyone that you want to shout out, whether if it's someone from your work or someone from a church that you look up to, please continue to send in your greetings as well. Time does fly very
It
quickly, Sister
does.
Teresa. Can you believe it? We're finishing our show. And thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you have enjoyed our show today and be able to relate in the way of the Christian work ethic. It can be challenging, but always remember that God will be on our side, and we have our family here inside the Church of Christ to be able to help one another. And I think bottom line is for you to be able to maintain that Christian work ethic, always make sure that you are respecting one another. And that is something that we are taught from a very young age. Being respectful, please and thank yous, as they said, will take you a long way. So
Definitely.
don't never forget about that, and always be grateful for all the things that even your work colleagues has given you. Appreciate one another, achieve, celebrate your achievements together. If you see them that succeeding, greet them, be happy for them, celebrate it together, and then so that you can learn to grow from each other. So once again, thank you all for joining us in our INC radio show this afternoon. We would like to continue to give our greetings, Sister Teresa.
Yes. So quickly before we do our closing, I actually had Brother Nole Esperanza do a quick message to us. He says, hello, sisters T and Diane. Greetings to the hardworking crew of INC Radio Australia. Keep it up, brethren, always delivering valuable content every week from Perth, Oz West. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you so much. And of course, we would like to say a big thank you to our brother Eduardo V. Manalo and our CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Iranio Manal, for always their support and for giving us this opportunity to have this platform. And of course, from the INC Radio Satellite Studio in Sydney, Australia, have a great evening, everyone, and stay safe. But please stay tuned, as next up is INC Radio South Korea. And joining us this afternoon is Brother Edwin Abike.
Oh, see you all next week. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Happy birthday to all the August. Birthday, Nina Daisy. Yes, also birthday for everyone. Brother Andrew. Happy birthday. Brother Renal.
Join us next week.
Join us next week. 5 p.m.